Mr. Stewart translates it reproachful. That is, he says, lacerating others by slanderous, abusive, passionate declarations, unquote. But this does not come up to the meaning of the original. All this might be done without affecting to despise its object, or in any point of view to assume superiority over him, an idea always implied in the original word. Besides, the reproachful words may not be slanderous. Mr. Tholick makes it pride towards a fellow creature, but this designation is not sufficiently peculiar. A proud man may not insult others. This vice aims at attaching disgrace to its object. Even in the injuries it commits on the body, it designs chiefly to wound the mind. It well applies to hootings, hissings, and peltings of a mob, in which even when the most dignified persons are the objects of attack, there is some mixture of contempt. Proud. This word translates the original correctly, as it refers to the feeling generally and not to any particular mode of it, which is implied in arrogance, insolence, haughtiness to persons puffed up with a high opinion of themselves, and regarding others with contempt as if they were unworthy of any intercourse with them. Boasters, the term in the original designates ostentatious persons in general, but as these usually affect more than belongs to them, it generally applies to persons who extend their pretensions to consideration beyond their just claims. Inventors of evil things. Dr. McKnight translates this inventors of unlawful pleasures, and no doubt such inventions are referred to, but there is no reason to restrict it to the invention of pleasures when there are many other evil intentions. In such a case, it is proper to give the expression the utmost latitude it will admit, including all evils. Disobedient to parents. Obedience to parents is here considered as a duty taught by the light of nature, the breach of which condemns the heathens who had not the fifth commandment written in words. It is part of the law originally inscribed on the heart, the traces of which are still to be found in the natural love of children to their parents. When the heathens then disregard this duty, they depart from the original constitution of their nature and disregard the voice of God in their hearts. Verse 31, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful. Without understanding. This well expresses the original. For although the persons so described were not destitute of understanding as to the things of this world, but as to these might be the most intelligent and enlightened, yet in a moral sense, or as respects the things of God, they were unintelligent and stupid. This agrees with the usual signification of the word, and it perfectly coincides with universal experience. All men are by nature undiscerning as to the things of God, and to this there never was an exception. Dr. McKnight entirely misses the meaning when he explains it as signifying persons who are, quote, imprudent in the management of affairs, unquote. The translation of Mr. Stewart, inconsiderate, is equally erroneous. Covenant breakers. This is a correct translation if covenant is understood to apply to every agreement or bargain referring to the common business of life, as well as solemn and important contracts between nations and individuals. Without natural affection, there is no occasion to seek for some particular reference in this, which is evidently its verification in many different things. Dr. McKnight supposes that the apostle has the Stoics in his eye. Beza, and after him Mr. Stewart, suppose that it refers to the exposure of children. Mr. Tholick, with more propriety, extends the term to filial and parental love. But still the reference is broader. Still there are more varieties comprehended in the term. Why limit to one thing what applies to many? Even though one class should be peculiarly prominent in the reference, to confine it to this robs it of its force.